Fantastic. Thank you, everybody who's watching this on school or IG or YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to
What's up?
subscribe
What's
because
up?
oh my gosh, I'm in the middle of an intro. Make sure to subscribe because we put videos out like this every single day and you don't want to miss them. We basically talk about everything online business and marketing agencies and coaching business and whatnot. Today, we're going to be talking about expectations of your business and input versus output goals. And this is actually Zach's idea, so I'll let him start. Would you like to start, Zach?
That's great. That's awesome. Love that so much. So thank you, Pedro, for passing me the alley oop like Dwayne Wade and LeBron. So basically, this is.
I love that you said Dwayne Wade. I love that you said Dwayne Wade first. Let's go. And I only,
Why?
and I
Wait,
only
why?
because I mentioned that in one of our Bible studies that we had recently that I actually prefer Dwayne Wade over LeBron and all the triple
Really?
three. Yeah, back in the day, because
Hmm.
he was on the court, brother. He was everywhere.
And
He was
he won by himself.
he literally won every single game by
He
himself.
won by himself.
That's what I'm saying.
Like legit. LeBron didn't win without Dwayne Wade, but Dwayne Wade won
That's
without LeBron.
that's what I'm saying.
So
LeBron is trying to be what Dwayne Wade was at his prime. Is basically what I'm saying. Anyway.
exactly, and when he was at the Heat, but like, I mean,
Yes,
now we
exactly.
know LeBron's better, but whatever. But
Yeah, now
the
we know
point
that
is,
LeBron's better because he's been longer in the game and his skill, blah blah. Anyway,
exactly. But the point is, so basically, guys, so we have this idea, or we did this because I watched a video about this guy who went to acquisition.com to actually get some coaching. So he went to acquisition.com. If you guys don't know, that's Alex Hormozi's business. You know, he's basically business Jesus. So basically, what he did.
Jesus is crazy. Relax, yo.
Let me calm down. Let me calm down. Let me calm down. Let me
Calm
calm
down,
down.
yo.
Let me calm down.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the
Praise the
Lord. Praise the
Lord.
Lord. But basically, so what happened was he showed up and he had a it was a commercial renovating property, a property
Correct.
company with renovate commercial properties. So he was like, hey, so I just started. I was well, yeah, okay, yeah. In case you didn't know what it did, and basically, so he was in the game for about 1.5 years, and he said, "Hey, so I'm cash constrained because I did 2 million in 1.5 years, and I want to do 100 million by the end of this year." And even Alex was like, "Wait, what? 100 million in what? In 6 months? Wait, what?" And he's like, "Yeah, yeah." But by the end of this year, he's like, "Okay, it's all good, it's all good." Like he said that, but then he's like, he sat there and he's like, "Look, bro, you grew this business very fast, but your expectations are gonna kill you." The thing is, though, if you expect too much and you try to go way too fast to grow business, that's usually when business fail, and that's when you shoot yourself in the foot because you're going to take actions that are going to be the fastest way to scale, which can hurt your business hurt your business when it comes to stability. So realistically, he $100 million a year that he could hit that probably in 10, 20 years. But the thing is, though, he wanted to hit it so fast, and he was making all the short-term decisions that held him back. So I want to talk about that because specifically when you run a business, you're going to see people online. Oh, I made 100K a month, 500K a month, da, 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 da. And it sounds really great. It sounds amazing. But the truth of the matter is, those businesses have been there for a while. They've been there building for years that you never even heard of them. Now that they're big and now they're successful, that's when you hear, oh my God, they made all this money. But it took them years to get to this point. So I don't want you to look at people's end goal or their end goal in life and be like, oh man, well, I can hit that too. You have to slowly understand that it takes a process. And I have that issue as well because for me, just a little bit of background for me, I started YouTube automation. And when I started YouTube automation, is that you doing fire emojis?
Nope, that's Matt or Bowie in here doing whatever.
Oh, let's go. Okay, it's lit. What's good,
Yes, sir.
guys?
The
So
boy.
basically, when I started YouTube automation, and in 1 month, I hit 20K a month in 1 month. And I was like, oh my God, wow, that's amazing. But here's the problem. The problem is that if you hit a 20K month really fast, you can lose it just as fast.
Right.
So the thing is, you want to build a business where you can have long-lasting results and it slowly builds into something great. And you have to have realistic goals. Not, I won't say realistic. Realistic is a bad word. You want to have goals that are outside of your reach, but not insane goals that there's no way you can hit.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how we set goals on that end. So let's say, for example, you want to grow a coaching business or marketing agency within the first year. There's no reason why you can't hit 10K a month in the first year.
There's no
I say
reason.
10K a month in the first year. There's no reason.
We
Now,
both
if you
did
want to
it.
hit 100K a month and 100K a month in the first year,
Ah.
you know what I'm
Ah.
saying? I don't know about that.
Right.
So it really comes down to, guys, you got to set goals that are within your reach, but not so crazy that they will discourage you if you don't hit them, and they will make you take the short term route. That's
Yeah.
kind of the basis of the whole idea.
Agreed. And Then let's talk about like how can somebody take some information from that and literally use that in their business right now. At least I would like to
Mhm,
describe this in phases. Let's do three, right? So like the first phase is essentially setting up your foundations, right? It's just first
mhm,
of all developing proof of concept that what you're doing actually needs to get sold, right? So that's like developing your offer, your niche, this, that, and whatever, how your service delivery, blah blah blah, your articles of organization, blah blah blah, all the stuff that you set up the business. Basically, all the BS that we don't want to do, but we got to do in order to make the business happen. And from there, it's
mhm.
like the foundational level is roughly your first goal is 10K a month. Because you have to take into consideration like 10K a month is literally minimum wage at this point. It's like
That's not that much.
it's literally minimum wage. Like I can't say that
Mhm,
wholeheartedly because it is harder, and I've told this to multiple friends of mine. It is harder now to get a job that pays you 250K yearly than a business that can basically make 15K every single month. It is
I
much more
agree.
difficult, which is crazy to think about, right? So the only other option that you have is essentially to create a business of your own that doesn't necessarily take too much of your time or the amount of money in order to get a good profit margin, which roughly we'd want to sit around like 60 to 70%. And more so than anything else is like once you develop your foundations, you have to figure out like what I said before. Then you have to start to figure out how are you going to scale, and I feel like that's the second phase. But before we get into that, and I think Zach would actually be really great to talk about this, you have to set up what exactly are you trying to hit specifically. Like once you get to 10K, how are you going to get to 10K? It's like first let's start with the offer. For example, if you start $500 a month with every single person that you basically work with, that's probably going to be a lot of freaking clients that you're going to have to service. And that sucks
Mhm,
because, and trust me, this is coming from a person who had 23 clients at one point. You know what I'm saying? And for
mhm,
only doing content. And that's just imagine like all the stuffs and the leaps and ladders and all that stuff. So figure it out. So it first starts with your price, right? If you literally start with $1,000, that's 10 people.
mhm.
If you start with $2,000, that's 5 people. So it's dependent on what your offer is, what specifically your niche that you work with. And we always tell our students to start with high yield niches more so than anything else, like people that have high transaction volume. What does that mean? Meaning that people have that basically charge people upwards of like 2,000 to upwards to 10, $20,000 per transaction. Because once you do that, they can actually afford your services, whether it be a marketing agency
Mhm,
or a
mhm,
coaching business, depending on what it is that you do. Once you have the offer
mhm,
dialed in, once you have the niche dialed in, the next thing is like your outreach system. What are you going to do in order to get those leads? You could do cold, you could do warm, you could do paid ads, or you can do content. Just know that once you pick one, you have to stick to it. And we actually have a portion in our course where we say, like, you have to double down on the system that actually works. If you want to try them all, fantastic, do whatever. But once something starts to work and zero turns to one, you double down on that before you switch on to anything else. And from there, you can actually go into the next phase, unless Zach wants to add something very quick.
Yeah, like that's the thing, right? You want to make sure you have the right foundation, right? And foundation is everything. So I want to hark on this. I really want to hark on this because
Yeah,
if you have a wrong foundation, you're gonna fail. It doesn't matter.
yes,
Like
sir.
really, what you want to do is you want to. One thing that's a really good quote by our boy Hermosi says again is you have to focus. That the one thing that kills more businesses is not work, it's distraction. That kills more business than anything.
Yep,
So you
yep.
want to have a foundation that you will stick to and say, I'm going to stick with this for as long as it takes for me to reach my goal.
Correct.
And the only reason you would ever switch is because there you figure out that there's something wrong with the assumption that you had about that business in the first place. So
Correct.
for example, if you realize if you want to start an agency, there are hundreds, thousands of examples of agencies out there that are making millions of dollars a year.
1,000%.
Exactly. So there's no reason why you can't do the same thing. Unless you realize that the business you had, nobody else is making money in it, then okay. But if someone else is making money with it, there is no reason why you can't either. There's zero reason. So it really just comes down to a skill problem and a skill level. So I want to have that mindset ready because like I'm just really passionate about this because I've kept freaking up so many times. Like I started like 17 businesses. And if I just stuck to one, I'd be a millionaire by now. But it's okay. We live and we learn, right? And it's all
Right.
that's what it's about, right?
I'll
And if we
also
go to
say
part two,
okay.
oh, go
Wait,
ahead.
wait. Before we go, I would also say in the sense it's
Mhm,
like you have to understand that like the cost of you switching another and I told this to Zach the other day, and it's a bar. It's like the
mhm,
cost of switching to another business on year two is the results that you would have gotten in year two of that original business for that business at year five.
mhm.
So what does that mean? It's just like if you switch to a different business at year 2, which you're on the cusp of making like 20, 30 G's, 40 G's, 50 G's, it doesn't matter. And that's just gross revenue. We're not talking profit margin, right? You're basically destroying your momentum, right? You're basically shooting yourself in the foot in order to get on shiny object syndrome, to switch to another program or switch to another business that you thought that would actually be more profitable. And then you're only going to get the same results based on year 5 because you're starting from zero. Because you don't have any momentum.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
Exactly. And I just want to say, I'm going to actually share my screen and show you guys a really cool diagram that helps me with this, because this diagram is fire. So if you guys want to see my screen and you're on the IG Live, join our course, join our school group. We'll show you. It's not, but it's lit. So basically what we'll do, I'll show you exactly. If you guys can see it in the actual school group, which I'm sure you can, right?
Yes. It's
perfect. So basically, I want to show you guys the cost of switching. It's a diagram that has changed my life. Now I'm going to move this over here. So let's just say you're in business 1. Let's say business 1 is an info business. So here's year 1, here's year 2, here's year 3. And this is info business, right? So this is year 1. Let's say you hit 1K, right? A month. Or let's say 10K a month. If you hit 1K,
yeah, like I was about to say, there's no way. Yeah.
Year 2, you hit 20K. Year 3, you hit 30K, right? So once you hit 30K, you're going to see all this and be like, oh, wow, this is amazing. But you're going to see another opportunity that looks even better. So what you're going to do is, hey, I started this thing. Let me go start something else. So let's say you start another company and you go from year 1 and that company makes 40K first year.
Yeah.
That's great. But the thing is, though, this is year 1 here. Well, this is year 4 here. So instead of 30K, you doubled, you made 60K. And year 5, you doubled again, you made 120K.
120.
So if you just actually stayed with the first business, you would have had triple the profits.
Correct.
Because every time you grow a business, momentum and leverage is everything. So if you have the leverage, you can grow faster. That's why people will have money, make more money, because they can invest into ads, systems, marketing. So if you don't, every time you switch, you shoot yourself in the freaking foot. So please, for the love of God, do not switch, okay?
Zach, I also say you have low battery on your Mac, so you might want to.
Yes, I do. I'm gonna go take care of that real quick.
Yes, sir. So, but anyway, the last thing that I want to say specifically on this is that, especially when it comes to switching more so than anything else, is like Alex Ramosi has an example of like the woman in the red dress. I would say that's like kind of convoluted in the Matrix and whatever. I would say just like, yo, like everybody has their, I don't know, their favorite food, right? It's just like, fantastic. You eat your favorite food every single day, this, that, and the third. Eventually you get bored of it, right? Eventually you get bored of it because you're eating it every single day. Like I only say that because I just got like ribeyes on like outsourcing for $250. So it basically turned into like basically 20 ribeyes. I've been eating ribeyes for the past 3 weeks, and it's just
I can never get rid of it. I can never get tired of ribeye, bro.
Yes,
I can never get tired of ribeye.
I understand. I don't get tired of it either, but now I'm trying to find more creative ways to have a ribeye. Does that make sense? Anyway,
exactly.
But the point is that like if you have ribeye every single day, eventually you're gonna get tired of it. It's just like, yes, salt, pepper, put it on the thing, maybe put some garlic and butter and rosemary. Like that so many times gets tiresome after a while. But you have to understand, it's just like that's where the results happen. Like you get tired of everything. Like you get tired of the operations, you get tired of scaling, you get tired of literally acquisition systems, you get tired of the marketing, you get tired of all the clients, you get tired of all the type of clientele that you get on a consistent basis, and the people that are probably going to say the same freaking objections over and over and over. But that's where the growth happens, right? That's where the growth happens. It's like if you stick to it long enough, if you stick to it hard enough, if you stick to it aggressive enough, you're going to see results every single time. It's like literally when you try to become an athlete or something like that, or not even an athlete, just you try to do biceps, right? You do biceps, and then you like every single day of your life. And the next thing you know, like by day 90, you basically like doubled the amount of weight. But then you're like, oh my gosh, I want to try a different exercise, this, that, and the third. And oh my God, I can't do this enough. This is so annoying, and blah, blah, blah. But if you stick to it, by month 6, you'll be able to lift 3.5 times the weight that you started with. So just take that into consideration within your foundational stage. Now we can go to the scaling stage, which is the second part. And then the third one, I guess, would be like, now you're a multimillionaire, which is what we're trying to do. Okay. But go ahead.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So what I would say is now that you know, are not dumb and you focus, right? Now
Mhm.
what you need to do is learn how to scale. So when you need to scale, the biggest thing that you have to understand with scaling, it's about inputs and not outputs.
Mhm.
So a lot of people do is they focus on the outputs of it. I'm gonna make 100K a year. Well, I mean that's great, but like, what are you gonna do to hit that? Like, how many leads are you going to call, how many people are going to book on your calendar. You have to have it by the number, right? And I'm gonna keep quoting Hermosi because he's amazing. Hermosi says, like, when you're scaling, of course, if you ever feel like you're not scaling fast enough, your scaling is rocky, it's because of lack of volume. So I
Mhm.
would say, like, when it comes down to scaling, number one, it's
Yeah,
volume. Do more than you think you need to every
agreed.
single day. That's number
Agreed.
one. But
I'll give you an
basically,
example. I'll give
mhm,
you an example before you go into the next thing. Like we started this coaching business roughly like back in March 17th. So technically we're on month three.
month three.
Month three of our business, right? And we already have 41 students as of today, which is awesome. You know, obviously, like
Mhm,
coaching business fluctuate and whatnot, but that's okay. It's completely fine. But we love our students, yo. Like we genuinely like
mhm.
I at least me like I get so happy on Fridays because we do these calls and then we hop on at 6 p.m. and then it's like it's basically like
Yeah, bro.
a bro
They're
fest.
lit, bro. They're lit.
Yeah, it's a little. If you want to join, comment start or click the first link in the
Mhm,
description if you're watching this on YouTube. But the point is, it's more so than it's. How do I explain this? It's more so like in the sense of that you have to take into consideration like when we literally got to 41 students, we're like, amazing, we got 41 students. We want to scale. Obviously, we want to obviously make, you know, a really great goal would be 100K months, right? So then we had a conversation about it yesterday, and I was like, Zach, we need to be putting out 1,000 DMs tomorrow.
mhm,
a thousand, a thousand. So
mhm,
then 7,000 over the course of 7 days. It's like we're gonna get more conversations because we've been getting a lot of really great results with the content and the cold DM system and everything in between. So it just goes to show because it's like, but we're doubling down. And we're doubling
mhm,
down on the content, we're doubling down on the cold DM, and we're doubling down on everything in between, right? And then the next acquisition system would essentially be have like a consistent ads campaign, right? Which is what we're
mhm,
working on right now. So more so than anything else, it's like just like in the past phase, it doesn't change when you scale, right? It doesn't change once you start to get results. You still have to do the foundations. You still have to double down on what's working.
mhm,
So if that means by the next couple I don't know, next couple months or the next quarter, we have to be sending out like 10,000 DMs. We're going to figure out a system in order to do that every single day.
mhm,
But the
mhm,
point still stands. You know what I'm saying? So it just double down before you even like try to add another thing on top of that. You know what I mean? In the midst of
mhm.
everything.
Exactly, exactly, 100%. So that's definitely true when it comes to that. And like when it comes to also input goals, you want to track it every single day. So like if
Yes.
your input goals when it comes to that, you must have this is why, system. I love me some systems. So this is why it's very important to have software systems or just a way that you track everything. And I mean literally everything.
Mhm.
What I'll say is a business is just a collection of numbers, right? So right now I know for a fact that our free trial closing rate is 27%. I know that off the top of my head because I've been looking at the numbers. If you don't know your numbers, 100%, you're screwed. It's like if you want to lose weight and you don't tracking your weight and your body fat, then what are you doing?
No, what are you
You're just
doing?
wasting your time.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's the big thing. So I really want to focus on. Go
I
ahead.
I will also say, once you start to track, and I mean, this is so true. Once you start to track, you already know off top like what exactly you're dealing with. For example, I'll use fitness again. You know what 200 grams of protein looks like if you're eating 200 grams of protein every single day.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
you're gonna gain weight, brother. You're gonna gain strength. Same thing with literally your acquisition systems. If your 27% free trial conversion rate is the same every single month, you're gonna be like, okay, cool. I'm getting 5 extra clients every single month. Then how can we double that? How can we triple that? How can we
Hmm.
do everything? And then more so than anything else, it'll start to level out, and then you won't even have to worry about it because you already did what? Put the systems in place
Hmm.
to make it happen on a consistent basis. Look at that.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, indeed. Yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
and
yes.
that's basically that. I couldn't agree more. So basically, when it comes down to that, that's the input and with scaling. So just increase volume, track everything. Definitely, I suggest using Go High Level if you can use Go
Mhm.
High Level software. Use Google Docs, anything you can. Make sure it's a system.
Right.
And then, what's the third part?
I guess the scaling, what we're trying to do, is scale to 1 million a month. You know what I'm
I well,
saying?
you know what I'm saying.
So,
But
so
like, what?
yes.
Mhm. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, no, no. I was just basically saying, like, if you're done with that phase, we could talk about that now, if you want. which I
Oh,
have.
scaling to like 1 million a month?
Yeah, 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 yeah. If
Oh,
you
yeah. I mean, honestly, scaling, like, so once you get okay, so what you're gonna realize is every business, once you hit 100K a month, at its top line looks the same.
yeah, agreed.
So what's gonna happen is you're gonna have a marketing department, sales department, fulfillment department.
Mhm.
3 departments. That's really it.
Yes,
And of
sir.
course, you kind of have to have different ones, kind of scale whatever. But the point is like once you have that, you have to separate yourself from the business as much as you can.
Yeah.
So that's what it comes to hiring and
Yes,
understanding
that's what I was
people.
gonna
And this
say.
is
Yes.
why it's like exactly. And this is why it's like, unfortunately, if you want to scale. So let me tell you about this, guys, because it's a big thing. It's scaling to 1 million a month is not a joke. So what you guys gonna realize is that if you want to have a lifestyle business, let's say you want to have a business that makes you, let's say 30, 40K a month and you do nothing and just chill, you don't really need that much. You don't need that much scaling. You don't need that much hiring. You can just grow it and have it run in the background, and just be chilling. That's what most people want. If you want to make a fuck ton of money, right? If you want to make a lot of money and kind of scale, you're going to need to get to that million a month. And Sam Ovens, the owner of School, he talked about this. He scaled consulting.com to over $24 million. The fifth year was he scaled $25 million. He said, this is too much work for me. I don't want to do this. He scaled back down to about $8 million a year. So when you scale to 1 million a month, you're going to have a lot more stress, a lot more headaches, but a lot more money to get into it. And it really comes down to hiring right. So a couple things about hiring is hire slow, fire fast. That's a big thing that you must understand. When you hire somebody, it's really about culture, right? You want to be able to download your skills and your mindset and your brain into someone else so that they take the same action, whether you're there or not, right? Because it must be a machine. Your person and your worker is basically a piece of you in the machine. That's really what it is. Now, don't treat your workers like machine, like pieces of objects. Okay, like obviously pay them. They're human, but that's the whole goal behind it. Um, so that's a big culture. Company culture is a big thing. Hiring correctly is a big thing, and really just you must have a scalable acquisition method. So really, genuinely, like this is why I think ads are the king of all marketing. Because at the end of the day, I've never seen a $1 million a month business scale without ads. I've never seen It's very hard to see a business do 1 million a month completely organically. I've seen that happen only a couple of times with William Brown. William Brown, he went to 800 a month organically, which is insane, but I've never seen a company hit 1 million a month without scaling ads.
Yeah, so, well, one thing I will say before anything else is just, like, 2 things. First is that, you have to invest in your people. At least this is the way that we're doing it, because like I don't see any other way
Mhm,
without it, especially when so many lessons that I've learned from like the books like a book that was recommended to me on one of Layla Hermosi's books, one of her videos. I think it's called The End Game. I'm not entirely sure. The Motive. There it is.
mhm,
The Motive. And then books
mhm,
like Traction and books like Business, Great Business Teams, like those,
mhm,
all those books talk about literally just investing in your people, like almost aggressively. Like literally talking
mhm,
about like, okay, cool, like, if they're having a hard issue at their house or this, that, and whatever, or like if they want to go to church on Sunday, or if they have a situation specifically that's like a personal thing individually, not necessarily involving their family or anything in between, it's just like you're there, like you're Michael Jackson. I'll be there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? You're literally there on a consistent basis for this person, because at the end of the day, it's just like it's just kind of like any person that feels like they're being invested into or they're being taken care of, they're gonna want to work for you like twice as hard. You know what I'm
mhm.
saying? Like it's
Exactly.
like for example, like if you do a nice thing for your friend, and they, like just because you don't ask anything from them, basically like Jesus, you know what I'm saying? Treat them like Jesus. You literally go into the service more so than anything else, like just helping them out just because you're a Christian, or you're just a person that has like a moral compass of some sort. Then they're gonna want to invest in you too. They're gonna be like, dude, I really appreciate that. Thank you for doing that. Thank you. Hold on, let me get that bill for you. Or like, hold on, you need a like a ride to the airport. I got you. Same thing with people. People are people. If you treat them the way that they want to be treated, then I mean, then it's pretty GG after
Yeah.
that. Second thing
Yeah.
I'll say, you have to treat, and this I've seen this within myself and like in my hiring process, and then also just like a bunch of other people's hiring process that are already doing 1 million a month. You have to treat hiring almost the same way as you're trying to get leads. The reason why I say that is because more so than anything else, people will literally just be looking at your stuff and being like, hey, I want to work with you. Bro, do you know how many people like literally DM us on a consistent basis? And we have a small following. We're just like, brother, I've seen your videos and we want to work with you, blah, 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 this, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah. Like whether it be a YouTube thumbnail, whether it be like somebody's as a
A
closer.
lot of copywriters. A lot of
So
copywriters.
many, brother. So freaking many. And so then what's that say? You know what I'm saying? Now imagine that when we're at 10K followers on Instagram and like 1,000 on YouTube. Or like imagine when we have 100,000 on YouTube and 1,000,000 followers on freaking Instagram. So that it's a point of contention more so than anything else. If you need somebody ASAP Rocky, what are you going to do? You're going to basically do content. You're going to basically do ads. Same thing. You're doing the same thing. The only thing is that the funnel's a little different and the ICP for that specific thing is a little bit different in comparison, but you're still bringing them into your system. So it's roughly the same thing. If you treat hiring the same way as you treat getting leads, then you always win. You always be in a situation in which that you don't have to do that much work in order to find really great talent. And I'll even quote Alex Ramosi on this as well. You have to take into consideration when you're hiring, specifically for the least amount or the least threshold, like the lowest threshold. Does that make sense? So let's say, for example, you're hiring somebody and you have all these funnels and you're doing this, that, and the third and blah, blah, blah. And you're like, I want to scale to 1 million a month. So it's like, all right, cool. Are you going to hire somebody that doesn't know how to use Microsoft Word? No. like you're not going to do that. And it's just like, because you're going to be like sitting there and basically teaching them all this stuff when you should be teaching them the part that you basically hired them for, whether it be sales or marketing or like HR or whatever it is, right? So at that point, roughly you're going to have some prerequisites, roughly like have to have like 4 years of Microsoft Word, or like with the marketing department, you have to have 4 years of developing other companies' brands and this, that, and the third to 100K follower, blah, blah, blah. Or like even for the sales, it's like you have over 100K of PIFs, paid in fulls on your own accord for a specific business, and this, that, and the third, where are the portfolios, right? So that way you don't have to reinvent the wheel and teach them the same thing that you expect them to do over again. And then from there, am I boring you, Zach? Hello?
No, I'm just no. It's been a long day.
It's been a long day for me too, and I'm jazzed. Muscles, muscles, right. But the point still stands, though. It's just like there's going to have to be some sort of prerequisites on a consistent basis. Like every single editor that I have edited for, that edited for me for any of the clients when I was at the height of my content agency, roughly, they had to know how to use CapCut. They had to know how to use Adobe Premiere Pro. They had to know how to use Final Cut, because otherwise it would just be shooting myself in the foot. And guess what? You lose money that way. And then guess what? Your profit margin goes down. And then guess what? Unhappy camper. So I think we did pretty good. Yeah, phase 1, 2, and 3.
Unhappy camper. Oh, we did it. No, we did a great. No, that was crazy. But no, I think we did great. Like basically, when it comes down to phase 1, 2, and 3, of course, foundation, scaling, and then just super scaling. And when it comes down to it, super scaling, super Saiyan.
Super Saiyan. I am real Super Saiyan.
Virginia. No, but basically, guys, so that's basically what we want to talk about. When it comes down to it, really, if I could take anything, like at least for me, I wanted to ask you the same question, Pedro. Like the question I want to see is like, what is the one thing you wish you knew in business over everything that would have sped up your results? For me specifically, it's always been focus. So like genuinely, guys, like I know so many people have business ADHD. Some people want to start anything. Please, for the love of God, these billionaires that you see here, they've been doing the same business for 10 years. That's why they're billionaires.
More than 10 years, brother. Like
20, 30, 40, 50 years.
Yeah.
That's why they're billionaires, guys.
Yeah.
So
for me, focus. Yeah, for me, it'd probably be like learning to let go, in the sense of, especially with the hiring process, is just being able to be okay with somebody's 80%, and then me being able to be like, to touch a project beginning and end, and then let them handle the most of it and be okay with it. Because more so than anything else is like you can't quality control when people don't know what quality is. You know what I'm saying? Like I used to be really anal about edits. I used to be really anal about posting times. And it turns out all that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. It's just like you can see the rest of our content. Like we've been doing 4 million views a month. It doesn't matter. We've been posting at like 12:01 in the morning. We've been posting at like 3 in the morning. Demon time. But
The fourth hour.
the fourth hour. But mainly it's being okay with other people's 80% in order for me to get projects out as fast as freaking possible. Because you can literally ask Zach, my main thing is just like, how can we do this faster? How can we do this faster? How can we do this faster? And I'm very impatient with that sort of thing. So then in order to be appropriately impatient, you have to be impatiently patient. Does that make sense? So like you have to be impatiently patient in the sense that you have to be okay with being patient on how somebody else is going to solve something rather than you having to be there 100% of the time and just being like, oh my God, let's fix this. So I guess the whole thing is learning how to be impatiently patient, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's about people, right?
Yeah.
Like very unless you want to be a solopreneur and you can, it's completely different. So
Yeah.
being solopreneurship is kind of its own thing.
Yeah.
Very hard to kind of scale past like a million a year with solopreneur. But if you want to build like a real business that like you can really, really have it there. I used to be the type of person like, oh, I'm doing it by myself, don't need anybody, I don't care.
Yep.
That's not really how it works. You're going to need people.
Yeah.
You're gonna need people.
Yep. I agree. And especially what we're trying to do, and by doing 1 million a month, like we already, I mean, at least for us, like we've been locked. I mean, we had a conversation about it like long time ago. It was like literally 5 to 20. That's it. I was like, Zach, I don't want to hire nobody more than 5 to 20. And I want to change those people's lives. Okay. That's and we pretty much agreed on that. But more so than anything else, it's like if you want to go to 100K as a solopreneur a month, that's very doable. But just know that you would have to be really great at what you do, and on top of that, it's all responsibility on you, my friend, and that's really hard. It might even take longer than you think. So just take that into consideration. But I think we're done here.
Yes, indeed. I think we're done. I think it was a great
Cool.
call.
Cool.
Of course, if you guys have any other questions,
Yes.
join the school.
Join the school, put it on YouTube in the comment section, like, comment, subscribe, and literally, I mean, subscribe to the channel because we basically talk about literally online businesses all day, every single day of our lives because you don't want to miss them. Otherwise, I will see you in the next one. Thank you, everybody, for on YouTube. Thank you, everybody on Instagram. Thank you, everybody on school. I will see you in the next episode.
In the next episode of Dragon Ball Business.